This is Francis Ferrugia welcoming you to tonight's WM Daily News. Thank you for joining us. The Mail Online reports how Dr. John Sentamu, the Anglican Archbishop of York, is fed up to the back teeth with political correctness that denigrates young people like Naomi. Anyone reading the newspapers in recent weeks could be forgiven for thinking young people are nothing but trouble, whether it's the Hellboys in Edlington, Doncaster, with their terrorizing of the local community, or the young man in Liverpool who killed Rhys Jones and his gang, who attempted to conceal the crime. There is a temptation to completely write off the young, especially those who live in our poorest communities. However, the great majority in this country are not troublemakers. Many are hard-working, committed to their local communities, and making a positive difference. There is nothing to be gained in demonizing a whole section of society. We all have a responsibility to the young, not just to our own offspring or families, but also to others. In Africa, there's a saying that it takes a whole village to raise a child. There is little to be gained from looking at which council or social service is to blame when a young person is abused or abuses another. What of the parents or the relatives? What of the responsibility of the local community who have looked the other way? The state must have a role to play in safeguarding, but it also has a role to play in supporting communities and individuals to own their responsibilities to one another, not least through the support of the families who are the building block of any community. The state must support marriage because in creation it is given as the foundation of family life. A recent report by the Centre for Social Justice entitled Every Family Matters called upon Parliament and parties across the political spectrum to recognise that healthy marriages build healthy families and healthy families build a healthy society. The report highlighted that while approximately half of all cohabiting couples with children will split by the time the child is 5, the equivalent figure for married couples is 1 in 12. As a society, we have allowed marriage to become devalued, and apart from the financial cost of family breakdown, the impact upon young people is incalculable. Marriage has suffered in terms of central and local government funding, fiscal opportunities, welfare benefits, and legal reforms. In terms of finance alone, the report estimated that family breakdown fuels crime, adding £60 billion to its annual cost, drug and alcohol abuse adding £40 billion, and educational failure a further £20 billion. The report's findings have wider support reflected in polling carried out by YouGov that showed 50% believed the law should promote marriage in preference to other kinds of family structure, and overwhelming 85% backed a tax break to promote marriage. There are many who would argue that individual lifestyle choice must be taken into account in any discussion of marriage. My own view is that the emphasis on individual choice often comes at a greater cost. The undermining of marriage and its impact upon young people and their development is just one example. President Obama was right with his speech to school children in America last week. We need every single one of your children to develop their talents, skills and intellect so that they can help solve our most difficult problems. That is as true of children in Wakefield, Yorkshire, as it is of children in Wakefield High, Arlington. Our children have the same aspirations and determination, no matter where they live. But what of the society we are shaping for them? Where are their role models? A recent study suggests that among adults there is no longer a universal standard of what honesty means. Is it dishonest to make an insurance claim for pre-existing damage to your car? 92% of women thought it was, but if they were members of a jury, 53% wouldn't want to convict someone for it. The figures for men were 85% and 45% respectively. The academic researchers conclude that attitudes to honesty are so variable that the legal standard needs to be revised. What does that say to young people? People often say that young people are the leaders of tomorrow, but I believe they are the leaders of today. That is why the Church of England is vested in working alongside young people, in and out of school, to ensure the society they inherit is one they can be part of building today. I am fed up to the back teeth with the bankrupt political correctness, which refuses to recognize the distinctive impact made on this country by the Church of England and other churches. More people do unpaid work for church groups than any other organization, with churchgoers contributing 23.2 million hours of voluntary service each month in their local communities outside the church. The Church of England alone provides activities outside church worship in the local community for more than 500,000 under 16-year-olds, employing more young workers than any other organisation. We are not seeking medals for that, but rather encouragement and, where needed, state support for projects in the more needy areas. In March this year it was revealed that the Department for Local Government and Communities has given £25,000 to the British Humanist Association to ruin local campaigns promoting atheism. Meanwhile, the Equity and Human Rights Commission has given them £35,000 of taxpayers' money to promote secularism in the public services under equality and human rights law. Last night I launched the Archbishop of York Youth Trust with an award ceremony recognising the achievements of young people who have changed their communities for the better. Take, for example, Naomi Cumming, who has been involved with a youth club at a church in Armley, a deprived area of Leeds, for the past 10 years. Naomi describes her area as one where kids as young as 10 are on the streets drinking alcohol and getting into trouble. She didn't take the path of others who join gangs or get involved in fights and criminality, but instead gave something back. She volunteered to run a weekly drop-in centre for 5 to 11-year-olds, where she is involved in feeding children, providing activities, and ensuring they have a safe place to be. Naomi is 15. Valuing people and allowing them to share their gifts helps not only build self-esteem, but also strong communities. These are the new change makers, the new Good Samaritans, and we need to ensure there is no disconnection between the grassroots and government. Too often we see governments that are too focused on league tables rather than real change. We hear of record academic achievement in our schools, but then see reduced job opportunities in the workplace, strategies where we are told every child matters, but still we see an increasing gap between rich and poor. The most vulnerable must not be allowed to fall by the wayside. They must not be forgotten. We must do more. We need to give young people in particular a moral compass so they can be emboldened to change the world. News from Vatican City, Friday the 18th of September. Pope Benedict XVI expressed his grief at the death of 6 Italian soldiers, members of the Folgore parachute regiment, in a bomb attack in Kabul, Afghanistan, which also caused the deaths of 15 other people. The Holy Father gave assurances of his prayers for the victims and expressed his closeness to the families and to everyone involved, declared Holy See Press Office Director Father Federico Lombardi. What causes most sorrow, Father Lombardi went on, is the continuation of such violence against the very people who are working for peace. We hope that all this bloodshed may in the end give way to the peace to which so many people are committed and are giving their lives. Finally, tonight we leave you with a look at Sultan Koshan, the world's tallest man. Thank you and good night.